Nancy and I are so thrilled because we have joining us live in the studio Patricia Herrera, and she is the director of 211 LA. This is an amazing, amazing organization, and in particular, the head of the Developmental Screening and Care Coordination Project. This is one of the things that we're going to be talking about, but you should know that this woman comes to us with incredible credentials. She has been working in this field and helping the underserved population for multiple decades. She has vast experience, worked with, we talk about the regional center, the Lanterman Regional Center here in Los Angeles has vast experience with them, but I mean, I could take the whole hour and talk about the credentials that you have, but I think that it's really important that folks know you've got the expertise, you've got the experience, and you have the passion that you have brought together, finding the way to get screening to these families and help them. So I'm in awe. So thrilled that you're here, and I know Nancy's excited that you're here too. You have a clinical psychology degree. You have a master's degree in counseling. So could we have somebody who has more authority to be speaking to us about this? But before we get too far ahead of ourselves, let's start talking about what 211 LA County is.
Thank you. Thank you so much for that amazing introduction. I am just so thrilled to be on this show. And so let me tell you about 211 LA County, because we are told that it's the best secret in town. And we do not have money to do major promotion. But people who need us find us. Okay. So 211 is the largest, it's a nonprofit, it's the largest information and referral agency in the nation. 211s exist across the state. 93% of the state is covered, a county is covered by a 211, and across the nation. Okay. We basically provide information and referral on health, social, and human services to all residents of LA County. So anyone out there, all they need to do is dial 211 and ask the question. Okay. We provide a comprehensive assessment on stated needs and unstated needs.
So 211 will put you in touch with whatever 211 regional organization there is.
Yes.
So just like we did 911, we did
I don't understand why more
211.
people don't know this. Is it just, obviously when you have a choice between helping people and putting money into helping people or advertising and marketing, but how about a public service announcement?
Yes.
We need one for you.
Yes.
All right, we're going to work on that after the show.
Thank you.
But at any rate, we certainly at Act Today want to start publicizing you to our families because we require a proof of diagnosis. So a lot of these families don't have that yet. So that's a way we can help you by spreading that word. Tell us how you're assisting families with young children on the spectrum, because we know early identification is so crucial. What are you doing about that?
Yes, we are offering screening over the telephone. It's all phone-based, using evidence-based screening tools. Okay. They're all online in real time because we know that families do not have time to be called back and to track them down. So the way we did our project was to offer the screening to families who are already calling about something else. People don't call us about autism or concerns about their children. They call us for basic needs. Okay. We're reaching the most underserved community in LA County, or anywhere where 211 exists, they're reaching the most underserved community. So they're usually calling us for shelter, food, and basic needs. We do ask everyone that calls 211 a screening question. Are there any children under the age of 5 related to this phone call? Mm-hmm. And when they say yes, we offer, would you like to do a parent questionnaire to see how your child is doing for his or her age? We try to take away all those big words, developmental screening, it really is a standardized parent questionnaire where children have been, it's been standardized in thousands of children. We have it in all languages, and we're able to, in a few minutes, to offer this parent questionnaire. Parents love to talk about their children. Mm-hmm. So when they say something like, oh, does this mean, what is the parent questionnaire? You're talking about your kids. We're going to ask you some questions, and these questions will allow us to provide you additional resources. We really take out the fear, the stigma, do you have a concern? We're not really looking looking, of course, if they call 211 and they have a concern, we do have, it's only 10% of our callers, which children
have a concern about their children.
But it's a very small percentage that actually call and say, I'm concerned because my child's not talking.
Right.
Or my child is not walking. Or my child is behaving strange. And so, but that's only 10% of our callers with children 0 to 5. The other 90% are families who are just calling for their basic need. But what is so interesting about our program is the parent engagement is very strong. Because usually people who are calling us, they're calling us to make ends meet.
Yes.
And we're probably their last resource. They've gone to community programs, they've been bounced around, go here, go there, apply, come and go, and they're giving our number. Who gives our number? We're funded by the county, by the County of Los Angeles, and all the departments in the county have our cards. We have these cards that we give out. That's our only promotion that we do. So if you are going to the WIC program or DPSS or DMH or public health, they give out these cards and then they call us.
Okay. So how many parents, how many children are you actually finding after doing these screenings actually fit criteria for developmental disabilities?
Yes. What happened? This is a pilot. It doesn't exist anywhere else in the 211s, and we piloted this program in 2009 with a grant from Keck and from Weingart and the Robert Wood Johnson Foundation. We did not do this at a 211, and what we had to add was care coordination, because you can't just screen. You have to do something about it. And this is why it's not happening with the pediatricians, because if they screen, they give the number and they let a family go on their own to find it. We also know that these systems are not easy to navigate. And if someone with resources, has a hard time navigating.
Yes, we both did.
Yes, imagine with a person with no resources. And I mean,
it's maddening to think of.
Basic resources, not having a phone,
a computer,
not having transportation, not being able to take off work for the multiple appointments.
And how about not being able to understand what the person is saying because of the jargon or because there's a language difference?
And so I think you were continuing to answer the question. You have found that a lot of families have identified children. And then what do you do after we've identified that these children might have delays?
So once we identify, we are now screening. We have 3 full-time care coordinators that work under my direction and supervision. And the care coordinators provide the screening in real time. And this is what's so powerful. We do the appointments for them right there and then. We do 3-way calls with the regional center school districts, depending on the criteria and the child. So there isn't there's no downtime. We know that the clock is ticking.
Because we also know that these families are overwhelmed, stressed, and in crisis. So they don't have the time to sit and call regional center 20 times a week.
Or call them 2 weeks from now, because that's when a ball gets dropped. So I love this. Real time.
So right there, 3-way call.
3-way call. Are you available right now? And these calls, you might think, oh my God, this is hours of phone work. No, it isn't. The screening is over in 8 minutes. And then we provide the results. We tell the families that these concerns are validating what they've been thinking. So it's not it's not diagnostic at all. We make very clear, this is not a clinical. This is all about your observations of your child. And we're just reflecting back what they told us. But then we tell them, your concerns really, they go to a specialist now. We really have to get you to see a specialist, and there's ways you can see a specialist at no cost. And so then we navigate and say, here's the regional center, depending on the age and eligibility. Let's say a 3-year-old. A 3-year-old who we use the MCHAT, the Modified Checklist for Autism and Toddlers. And every child that is between the ages of 16 months and 48 months, we're doing the MCHAT. And so once they are at risk on the MCHAT, we tell the families that they really need, the next step would be to really meet with a specialist in person that could answer.
And do you give them the specialist?
Oh, yes. And so we start with the regional centers, of course. And then if they're 3, we also start with the school district, because we know those two need to go hand in hand for a 3-year-old. We also offer early childhood education programs, and we start telling them about the specialized therapies that exist.
Now, Patricia, one of the issues that we have heard time and time again in the Hispanic community is that that oftentimes there is a denial, a cultural kind of reticence to grapple a problem like autism with their child. Do you have ways that you work with the families to try to help them over if they do have those hurdles? Like a lot of times we hear a mom will say, I know that my child is not, but his father's in denial and will not let me take him to get help.
Yes.
How do you deal with those situations?
I think the connection that we make over the phone is amazing because it takes away some of the stigma. And you're in the, private in your phone. It feels somewhat anonymous, but it really isn't. And people open up. I mean, I've been in the clinical field for a long time. I worked at Children's Hospital. I did therapy to get my marriage family therapy hours. And I've never seen people open up so much on the phone versus it took me months to get families to open up and talk to me about what was really going on and their stigmas and concerns. But when you have them on the phone, and because their initial connection was made on their terms.
Right.
I called you.
Yeah.
I need something.
Right.
Absolutely.
And you're being responded to.
And
that makes a huge difference.
And we pick up the phone live. It's not, we'll call you. So that in itself creates this incredible trust of families and what we're doing. So by the time they make it to my care coordinator, because it doesn't happen on the front line with the information and referral specialist, it is warm transferred over to one of my care coordinators. And they explain, this is what the parent questionnaire is about. Before they get into the questions, this is what we do. This is what's going to happen. So they get a lot of information up front. They open up and they tell us, my husband doesn't want us to talk about this. This needs to stay in the family. And so we're telling them about the timelines and the amazing therapies that they can have access to if they could take those steps. And we do a care plan for each family.
A what plan?
A care plan.
A care plan.
Kind of like I used to call it an action plan.
Okay.
But we moved it more towards a care plan. And basically that's done with the family, in a partnership with the family. So sometimes we get the family saying, I know what the school did. I don't want that yellow bus picking up my kid. I do not want that. I heard regional center, that's for really severe kids. So we're going to start with a parent wants to start. So we asked them, what about a Head Start? He's 3 years old. How about a Head Start? This is in your community, because most of the children that we are finding they're very isolated. They're not in programs at all. They're under 5 years of age. Our program at this point is only for children 0 to 5. We can expand it, but funding is always an issue. This program was put together with
for
foundations.
0 to 5.
Yes.
Now, outside of 0 to 5, do you work with the older individuals?
For advocacy.
For advocacy.
Yes. We don't do the screening. Yes. But
but advocacy.
Yes.
So if a family were to call you, they're in crisis, they say, my 18-year-old has left the school, he's sitting at home on the couch, he's got severe behaviors, he has no day program, what do I do?
Yes. So we start to see, are you with a regional center? Do you know of a service coordinator? So we start to ask all the right questions. We want to make sure we do not duplicate services, that we've done an exhaustive, comprehensive assessment of the situation, and then we navigate the services. Usually we're looking at parent organizations like the Family Resource Centers. We are very well connected with the network of providers. So we were one of the first agencies to have one MOU with the 7 regional centers where there's a commitment that they will take our referrals, but they do that with everybody. But this was very unique with the regional centers, that they will give us feedback on our referrals. So we're tracking referral outcomes. And again, it's one of the first organizations to go back to big systems like the school districts and regional centers and say, okay, I have these children, I have consent to ask this information for sharing of data. We want to know if these children made it to you or not. And if they didn't, we circle back with them. What happened? How can we help you? And then we start finding the barriers.
You're closing the cracks.
Yes.
I just want to say this, though, that, this is just in Los Angeles. And again, people can call 211. That's how they can get a hold of you. It's just in Los Angeles right now. But is this a pilot program to see how it works so that we make this 211 everywhere?
Yes, it is.
But there are other 211s across the state or across the nation?
Both.
So we have a lot of viewers that are from all over the world, but we want to let them know that there are 211s that can help them with services and possibly advocacy.
Information, social, health, and human services, and if they had questions about their children,
Okay.
The screening and what we're doing, the care coordination, is specific to 211 LA, but we're trying to take it statewide.
Okay. Now, you mentioned that the future might be a little questionable here.
Yes.
Your funding is an issue always.
Yes. Our original funding was to launch an innovation, and we did it.
Okay.
And we are working on bridge funding, and right now we have money for a bridge funding, but that money is not going to be available very much longer. We have a very strong sustainability plan to see, because this is what's so interesting about this, that child fine is what is used in the funded mandate. These children have to be, this for decades, people have done research and generated data that there is a group of, that it's hard to find. The average age of identification of autism is 4.
Right.
And it should
Which
be
is
4.
criminal.
Right. And
It's
this is
criminal.
for the families who have resources
And the family
fight, right?
The child was identified with a correct diagnosis at 4, incorrect at 3.
Yes. And then for a child who is Latino, African American, and poor, it's 6 or 7 years
That's
of age.
right, which is criminal.
Yes, it is criminal.
That's criminal.
And so there are government programs, federal and state, that are funding child fine. So we're trying to talk to them and say, could you look at this as a strategy to find the children that you've been looking for decades?
Okay.
We have a solution. So that's what we're working on. Right now we have this bridge funding because we know sustainability with government agencies take time. But we have their attention and we have their interests.
Okay.
But our bridge funding is saying you better have something done by September 30th or we can't help you anymore because we have issues with our funding. And so that was the plan. You had a funder who launched the innovation, then you have a bridge that gets you to the sustainable funding, which is with the government.
Okay.
And so we're working on it, and so right now bridge is what we need.
Maybe we can put our heads together.